You ever notice how negative people, society, and social media have become? Everywhere you look, somebody's complaining. Everywhere you look, somebody's trying to bring you down or spread something negative that's not gonna make you or anybody else better. Have you ever noticed how easily people get upset these days? How quick-tempered they are with each other, how poorly we treat one another, and how hard it is to bring them back to a point of being reasonable. And so in a world filled with so much darkness, there's never been a better time or more important time for the people who've been filled with light to spread that very thing. If you know you got positivity in you, now is the time to step up. If you know you got words to say that can help heal this world, now is the time to be the light. And so today we want to talk about the idea of not sitting on the sidelines, not being passive, not just allowing life to pass by or allowing the negative people to take over, but being the light. Being that beacon of hope and positivity and goodness that the world so desperately needs, because let's be honest, we do. Whether we're talking about politics, finances, social media, video games, whatever the arena, somebody is spreading negativity. Somebody is being mean, rude, nasty, and treating people in a way that really isn't necessary. Maybe they're coming from a place of hurt. Maybe they're doing it to have fun. Maybe it's not even a real human. Maybe it's simply a bot in the comments. Whatever the case, it's time for light to start spreading. Whatever the reason, it's time for the good people to step up and start showing out. Otherwise, we don't get to complain about the darkness if we're not doing everything we can to spread the light that we've been given. So today I want to talk about the idea of being the light. In a world where negativity and nastiness and being mean in general has become the norm, I want you to be different. I want us to be better. I want to see the world heal and grow. But that can only happen if the good are willing to step up. Because we know for 100% fact that darkness ain't going anywhere. Negativity isn't going to leave. Light has to be the one to flush it all out. Because when negativity and nastiness and being mean to each other has become the norm, it becomes that much more important that the positive and the kind-hearted and the good among us shine their light even brighter for the rest of the world to see. We can't complain about the darkness when we're unwilling to spread our own light. The beauty of light is that it only takes a little to start to illuminate a dark space. If one bright light is enough to fill up a room, what can hundreds of lights do? What can thousands of positive people all pulling together for the common good of just seeing us better? What could we all do? What could we get accomplished? But it has to start now. And it has to start with us, because if we ever hope to see this world become a better place, we must be the change that we hope to see. We can't expect people to magically become nice if there's no reason for them to do it. We can't expect for love to be spread if we, the originators of the love, are unwilling to do that very thing. How can we expect positivity and love to ever become the norm when we feed into the algorithm of the negativity? And so we must be different, think different, move different, behave different, and we'll get different outcomes. But until that day, until the moment we decide that no more of this is going to be tolerated, we're going to continue to see negativity win. Until we decide that it's no longer acceptable for people to treat each other in such a bad way, it's going to continue. Until somebody decides to step up and say, this is going too far. We want this world, we want this future, we want the life for our future generations to be better than it is today. But how can that happen if everyone is constantly butting heads? If no one is willing to listen, if no one is willing to have a conversation, if no one is willing to even consider dialogue, how can it ever happen? When I talk about being the light, I'm not just talking about spreading random words of positivity where everyone is being negative. When you go online and you see people arguing and spreading hate in the comments, what is it that you're going to add to it? When it comes to creating a comment on social media, there are literally hundreds of thousands, if not millions of different ways in which you could respond to something. You could choose to walk away. You could choose to spread love. You could choose to show a different angle. Whatever it is, you're putting something out there. By the way, choosing to do nothing is doing something. Being passive is doing something. Watching things but not commenting is doing something. Spreading love is doing something. Which one are you doing? If the things you post incite people and get them upset and riled up and enraged without ever offering a solution, are you really spreading good? When you see people tearing others down, spreading negativity, calling names, generally being unpleasant, how do you respond? You can't call and consider yourself to be a part of the light if you're constantly feeding into negativity. So every time you see those negative comments, the negative posts, the clickbait, the nastiness, How are you reacting to it? Are you commenting, fueling the fire? Are you showing them love? Are you feeding into whatever it is they do so that they get pushed up in the algorithm? Or are you going to be different? Maybe the solution is to scroll right past it. Maybe the solution is to spread love. Maybe the solution is to ignore it and give it no love so that people can see what's really real. Whatever the case, I want you to be intentional. Whatever the case, we're all creating and setting a digital footprint that's going to live on forever. What legacy are you leaving? And even before we get to the digital footprint, even before we get to that world of online, it starts off in the real world. When you see people are hurting and you know there's a way in which you can help, what are you doing? When you know you have an abundance and you could give a little bit more, are you doing it? When you know there's a kind word or an encouraging something that you could say that might completely change somebody's day, what are you doing? There's so many different ways to be the light. The beauty of being a light, the beauty of being a person who's moving a little different is there's so many different ways to do it. It could be in a comment section, but it could be in real life. It could be by donating some money, or it could be just spending some time. It could be offering a kind word. It could be offering a listening ear. It could be challenging and offering pushback when you know for a fact that somebody is spreading something that ain't right. Whatever the case may be, we got enough negativity in the world. It's time for the light to start winning. We got enough people who are spreading darkness, who are spreading hate, who are divisive, who want you going at each other. Who's going to reverse it? I say yes. I say this is essential to the infinite evolution. That constant pursuit of becoming better, it has to start with us. It has to start with light. And it has to start with action. And so in order to see the world become a better place, in order for things to be different, we must be different. We must think different. We must do different. Otherwise, we'll get the same thing. We'll get the same results. And once again, we won't be able to complain about the results we didn't get from the work we didn't do. So what work are you doing? What light are you spreading? What energy are you putting into the world? Every single day is a chance. Every single moment is a chance to leave this place a little better than it was. And if you don't know where to start, look inwardly. Look at the algorithm of your life. Look at the people who you surround yourself with. Look at how they talk. Look at your social media. Take inventory of everything. Look at all of the TV and Netflix and streaming and program. Look at everything. All of it is pushing you, pushing your mind, pushing your thoughts towards something. If you fill your brain with negativity and fighting and bickering, how are you going to spread love? I'm not saying you can never watch anything entertaining or that messy drama show that you love must be completely banned, but should you put a limit on it? Should there be a limit to just how much you feed into it? Because if not, you are what you see. You are what you feed into. In a previous video, I spoke about how your diet consists of everything. Today, more than ever, I would argue that it's critical, that it's important that you protect everything that goes in and out of your ears, your mouth, your eyes, your heart, and your mind, because it matters. All of it is a part of your diet. So often we think it's only the things we literally consume that make up our diet, but no. If you're seeing something, it's influencing the way you think. If you constantly hear something, it's influencing the way you think. Over the last year, I had to take some real inventory of the music I listen to. Not because sonically it doesn't sound good, because the message behind it wasn't so positive. And how could I ever hope to achieve a positive outcome, to achieve positive results, if I'm constantly feeding myself negativity, trauma, beautifully sounding pain? And don't get me wrong, there's a place for it. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you gotta abandon all the artists that you love to listen to, but shouldn't something be positive that you listen to? But as much negativity as you pump and feed into your mind, you gotta find a way to balance it so that you can be that light that you hope to spread. There's plenty of people who have really good intentions, but the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And the reason why is because intentions aren't enough. Intentions aren't actions. Feelings aren't actions. Thinking something is not action. It's what you actually start to do. And 9 times out of 10, the things that you have on the forefront of your brain are going to be what come out. So if everywhere you go, everywhere you look, is negativity, is cattiness, is bickering, is fighting, is name calling, how are you going to spread love? Chances are you're going to be a part of the same algorithm that gets everybody else to fall into it. One thing we know about the human brain, the human mind, the human condition is that we react several times more strongly to negative stimulation than we do positive stimulation. You have to find a way to massively tip the scales and balance in favor of the good because the negative weighs so much. Think about the idea of a person who's spent their entire life doing good. One bad act, one wrong move could change everything. Think about the person who spends their entire life being a saint. being positive, showing love, being good. But one night after a party, they decide to drink and drive. It could change everything. Think about the person who every single day of their life, they're faithful and true to their marriage. But one day they decide to cheat. It changes everything. One moment can have a massive, large impact. And so what I'm saying to you is negative moments can have really bad impacts, but so can the positive. Maybe the words of encouragement that you offer somebody today walks them off of that cliff. Maybe somebody was on the ledge and ready to jump and you brought them back. Maybe somebody was ready to quit. In the world of creativity and business and just success in general, you often hear this idea of people often quit far too soon. They quit right when they were on the edge of a breakthrough. What if your positive words can help somebody push through? What if the energy that you spread today is the reason why somebody hits that next level? Wouldn't that be worth it? If you can help elevate someone you love to their highest potential, why would you not do everything in your power in order to make it a reality? In order for things to be different, we must be different. We must think different. We must talk different. We must pray different. We must focus different. We must direct our energy in a way that is deliberate and intentional and different than everything else you're seeing. One of the reasons why social media is so negative is because knowing that our brains react so much more strongly to negativity means that the bottom line is often going to be the bottom line. Oftentimes, the social media influencers, the people making the comments, the people looking to boost engagement, they don't really care one way or another about the results or consequences of what they say. They're here for engagement. They're here for likes. They're looking for attention. And by feeding into them, by building them up, you become a part of the problem as well. Sometimes, if not often, it's necessary to engage with evil in order to show just how far off it is. It's not enough for good people to simply be good in their hearts. They must be good in deed. They must be good in action. When you see negativity online, if you're feeding into it, if you're showing it love, you're just as negative as the person who posted it. Conversely, and much like in many other situations, discernment is going to be key. Oftentimes, people post negativity and nastiness simply to troll, simply for the algorithm, simply to boost their numbers and get people talking, get them liking or hating. Because one way or another, if they can boost their way up the algorithm, maybe they can earn a few more pennies. Oftentimes in those situations, it does nobody any good, especially the world, to interact with them. Because they aren't there in earnest, they aren't really trying to create dialogue and debate, they're simply there trying to troll. And to feed into it, feeds whatever it is they're doing, and you got to pull back. Other times that discernment is going to help you realize this is a situation where I do need to lend my word, where there is something positive I can offer, where there is something good that I can contribute to the conversation. Having the wisdom to know when to interact or not is something each and every one of us got to decide for ourselves. But either way, we get to choose. What are you adding to the world? Good, bad, positive, negative, hate, love, light, darkness. Either way, the choice is yours. If thought precedes actions, our minds are telling us where we go, which is why it's also important to protect them first and foremost. Because if someone can co-opt your mind, if someone can cause you to think in a way that's hateful, to feel riled up, to feel negativity, what are you going to spread? It's not going to be love. It's not going to be goodness. It's not going to be hope and light and care. It's going to be that negative. It's going to be the bad stuff. It's going to be more of what's already bringing us down. And you will have fallen victim, once again, to the same negativity that's plaguing this very world. We got to be better. We got to do better. We got to think better. And it starts with us. Be the light. As a kid growing up, my all-time favorite superhero was Batman. What I liked most about Batman was, despite not having superpowers, he still fought with the most evil and diabolical villains you could think of. Despite being wealthy beyond measure, he didn't sit back and enjoy his riches. He was out there in the streets defending what he knew was good. Every single time he went out there to fight crime and save the world, his life was on the line, and he did it anyway. Standing up for what's right. Giving people who were weak and powerless a chance at life. And he didn't have to. He could have easily sit back and enjoyed his riches, but he chose to stand up and fight for something good. In a world full of darkness, he chose to be a light. Even though he was fighting his own personal demons, even though as a kid he had his own parents taken away from him, he vowed at that point, I'm going to be different. He didn't want to be another rich, greedy billionaire paying lip service to positivity but never living it through action. What happens when instead of just being a man, you decide that you could become more? Well, what if more of us thought like Batman? What if more of us thought, you know, I got a little bit extra. Maybe I can show love to somebody who needs it. I've been blessed with these gifts. Let me share them with the world and make something positive. The truth is, you don't have to be a billionaire crime fighter in order to make an impact. You can start at home. You can start with yourself. What if by treating yourself better, you're able to spread light? What if by being disciplined and structured and setting goals and living and moving in a proper way, what if you're able to spread that same mentality, that same thinking, organization, and discipline to somebody else? To me, that's spreading light. To me, from what I can tell, the best way to spread light is by example. Not just talking about it, but by actually living it. What if you went out into your community and started to make an impact? What if every time there was a local election, you made sure that you were as informed as possible? What if every single time you could help, you could extend a helping hand, you did? The world would look a lot different and it would spread like a wildfire. But it starts with you and it starts within. It first starts with those thoughts and then you can start to spread the action. Maybe you don't have $1 billion and special gadgets to help you fight crime, but could you help fight negativity? Maybe you don't have the power and resources to stop global warming or global poverty, but can you give that homeless person a helping hand? Can you show love to that mother who's struggling? And that's before we even get into the state of affairs in our country. Right now we're going into the holiday season and many people for the first time in a long time are going to be without food benefits. During the coldest, harshest, hardest season of the year, people are going to be struggling, hurting. And we haven't even gotten to Christmas or the holidays or anything extravagant. We're talking about basic survival. If there's any way in which you can spread love and positivity, shouldn't you be doing it? If there's anything you can do other than simply complaining online, shouldn't you be doing it? And I'm not saying that speaking up and spreading the word online isn't important. But people cannot eat your words. People will not be fed because of your comment. They may. It might happen. But chances are, if you went to the local grocery store and bought some bananas and donated to a food bank, you might be better off. Chances are, if you went to your local volunteer shelter and was able to spread some love in that way, it would be far better. What are you doing? Not every piece of positivity is about doing some spectacular, amazing thing. What about being a good friend? What about being a good daughter or a good son or wife or husband? What about just being good to the people in your circle? What if instead of trying to heal the world, you simply heal your circle? You simply heal the people around you. You heal yourself so that you can spread love and positivity. What about instead of keeping that same energy or matching people at their lowest, what if you said, I'm going to raise the bar. I'm not going to match your energy. I'm going to exceed it. I'm going to show you positivity and love even though you showed me something different. Not because you told me to. Not because I have to. Because I want to. And because I get to. You don't got to do positive things. You get to do them. You don't got to spread love. You get to spread love. Every single day that you are breathing, every single day that you're above dirt is a day in which you could be having an impact. It's an opportunity for you to make something better. What are you doing with it? And I'm not just talking to others. This message is to myself as well. If all I do is talk and speak and babble, but my actions never follow suit, congratulations. You just became like the rest. No, I'm a man of action. I'm a man who actually works in my community, who actually cares about making a positive impact, and who can't just speak about it. I gotta actually live it. It starts with making sure that my spirit and body and mind and fitness and everything, all of it, are as healthy as possible so that I can be at my best. Because if my default is to help, how can I possibly maximize the impact that I have if I'm running on fumes? If I'm not getting enough sleep, I can't spread the love. If I'm filling my brain with negativity, I can't spread the love. If I'm pumping my ears full of words of hate, I can't spread the love. I gotta be intentional about what I allow into my mind and my body, my ears, heart, everything, and then spread like the light that I know is within me. In this year that we're living in and beyond, much of our lives have become online. Well, what you do online, your presence, your energy, what you contribute to the world says a lot. And oftentimes that digital footprint, the reverberations and effects that it's going to have will be felt for generations to come. You don't even realize it. That negative comment that you drop is going to be there forever unless you decide to erase it. But so will the positive. So will the good. You can get thousands of likes on a comment and boost the algorithm in a good way. Or you can show love to the negative. Which one will you choose? The things you post, watch, support, contribute to, spend time with, spend money on, all of it is contributing. All of it is impacting the algorithm of this entire world. Most of us don't think of life or the world having an algorithm. But if you break down what an algorithm is, all it is a pattern, a series of events that lead to a logical conclusion. Well, if everything we're seeing and posting and spreading is good, what's that gonna do to the world? This is the infinite evolution. Every single tech and media company today will tell you that the most important commodity in today's world is your attention. Why? If a person can gain control of your minds and thoughts, they also gain control of your actions and deeds and beliefs, the way you behave and interact with people, the type of light that you're actually spreading versus what you say you're doing. And let us be clear, the road to hell is often paved with good intentions. Just because you mean well doesn't mean you're doing well. Just because you think you're arguing with the troll doesn't mean you're not boosting them up in the algorithm. Be wise, be intelligent, be discerning, be slow to anger, be slow to spread negativity, be quick to spread love, be quick to share positivity, and watch the way your outcomes and the world starts to change. The healing and goodness that we so desperately seek has to start from somewhere within us, because your thoughts and eventually words and deeds are impacting somebody. Maybe to you it was a harmless comment or a post that was just a joke, but to somebody else it might simply mean the world. What are you spreading? If somebody in your life was on the edge, one way or another, and your actions and your words and your thinking and your deeds could sway them one way or another, which way are you trying to push them? Towards goodness? Towards the light? Or are you feeding into the negativity that the rest of the world is giving them? Our default has become negative, but I'm here to say we're going to change it and turn it into something so much greater. And so will you spread love, or will it be animosity? Will it be negative, or will you be building something or somebody up? Will you be speaking and preaching confidence to the very people who need and deserve it? Or will you be tearing them down along with the rest of the egomaniacs in this world? I want you to be different. I want us to be better. And it starts within. So let's get to it. Are you constantly on a mission to make someone's day? Or will you stand back and be neutral and pretend as though you can have an impact? Choosing to be neutral is a choice. Choosing inaction is a choice. And when good people remain silent in the face of injustice, when people are being mistreated, done wrong, that's a problem. What chance of hope does the world have if the best people refuse to speak up? If the most kind-hearted people are afraid to let their voice be heard? Be the light. Now take that same energy, those same words, that same post, that same thing you were about to do, and spread it by 1,000. That's the impact you can have. What if instead of one post of positivity, there were thousands? What if instead of one listening ear and kind heart, there were millions? What if changing the world for the better starts right here in this very moment with you deciding to be different? It could happen. Let's do it. The beauty of light is that it doesn't take a ton of it to have an impact, but the more you have, the better. One match in a room full of darkness is going to give a little bit of light. It's not going to fill up an entire room full of darkness. But if you take that match and you light hundreds of thousands of candles along the way, well, there's no limit to the impact that you can have. But somebody has to start to ignite those candles. Somebody has to start to light the flame and spread the love to each and every person. Why not you? Why not me, and why not us? And not all light is created equal. There might be somebody out there in the world whose light shines so bright, it lights up the world just like the sun does. And maybe all you have is a tiny spark. Whatever the case, it's all helping. Whatever the case, even with that tiny spark, you have the ability to make an impact. So don't take it for granted. Don't take it as something small, that spark that's within you is within you, because somebody doesn't have it. There's people out there who are begging and pleading for just a tiny spark, for just a little bit of hope, a little bit of life. If you got it in you, you got to spread it. Maybe your little spark is the flame that lights everyone else on fire. But if you never spread it, it won't ever happen. So whether you're the sun or the moon, the stars, a diamond, a spark, whatever, you can have an impact. You can make a difference. And you can start right here, right now, today. Be the light. Maybe the next time you listen to someone, you're like the flame that lights the candle. And maybe their candle lights another candle and another and another. But where does it start? If you won't be the spark, how can you complain about the light never getting spread? If you won't actually step up and stand up and become that spark, spread that light, how can you ever have expectations of a better world? You didn't contribute to it, so you don't deserve it. We didn't make it happen, so it won't. When you choose to spread love in those comment sections instead of negativity, you could be like the sun. What happens if instead of engaging with the negative thing, you decide to spread love and light? You flip the dynamic, you turn it into something good, you turn straw into gold, and you make something positive out of a situation that was meant to be negative. Because what's really more important, engagement or making this world a better place? There's always going to be another dollar. There's always going to be more money. There's always going to be more engagement or attention or something that's really irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. So if the people who have the light don't actually spread it, what's the point of even having it? Be the flame you were meant to be. Be the fire you were meant to be. Shine bright like you were meant to, and be the light. The world already has enough darkness. What would happen if you became the light? Start with yourself and then spread to your family and friends and community. But whoever you are, wherever you are, be the light. You matter, you're important, and you can make a difference. There's nothing neutral about sitting on the sidelines and choosing to be inactive. In the face of injustice, those who choose to do nothing are just as culpable, if not more, than those who chose to do evil. Because if you're sitting on the sidelines, knowing there's something you could do, knowing you can have an impact and you don't, that's a whole different ballgame. That's a different type of thing we gotta attack. Be the light. As a kid growing up, I used to watch pro wrestling, and there was a guy called the $1 Million Man, and he would always say, everybody's got a price. But do they? If you can be bought and paid for with a simple dollar amount, there's no limits to which you'll go to spread negativity. But if you're driven by something better, by a purpose that's higher, by a spirit and energy of love, something greater than just the material, something more than just riches or wealth or whatever material blessings you think you can have, that's hard to control. That's hard to stop. But when you're driven by money, it's really easy to control you. It's really easy to stop you. And so many people are. If it's not the attention, it's the money. If it's not the money, it's the algorithm. If you're driven by something different, you'll be able to move and create different outcomes. Be the light. This is the infinite evolution. Be kinder, be smarter, use discernment, show wisdom, spread love in places of negativity, be a light in a place of darkness, because the world needs it oh so much. This is the infinite evolution. And so whether you're thinking, speaking, being, living, doing, whatever, be the light. This is the infinite evolution. And so when you think, let your thoughts be rooted in goodness. When you speak, let your words be rooted in positivity. The way you live and behave and move, let all of it be based on and come from a place of love and positivity. It's been said that you'll know a man by his fruits. If all of these things come from you, there should be no question. Be the light.